Right then, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, 5 things that we learned. Let's get into it. Number 1, Garnacho, mate. Lively, energetic, oozed confidence, played like he belonged. Pretty much delivered on the sort of promise that we'd been hoping. Like, no one's out here asking him for start. Him starting last night was a surprise inclusion, I thought. But he delivered on what we were asking for, and that is give the kid an opportunity. Give him 5 or 10 minutes. And I think that the cameo that we saw from him last night, he's going to have earned those 10 minutes. He's going to be given those 10 minutes. At the end of a game now, 1-0, 2-0 up, go on, I'd have a bit of a run out. He was direct. You know, his performance has put him right in contention. We might have a star on our hands. We kind of thought that a little bit anyway with him. But he was committing defenders. He was bursting into the box. He was trying megs. He was doing stuff that our current wingers, our first choice wingers right now aren't doing. That is committing and running people. And that's something that if he continues to do, he's going to find himself starting over him. It's as simple as that. So big performance from him. He didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist. He had some opportunities. But it was a big performance from him, that I thought. Number 2, Ronaldo ends the goal drought, finally scores. Wasn't his best performance, and he had a couple of opportunities, but it was a game that I thought was really going to suit him. And he did get his goal. Might be the sort of lift that he needs. Happier, less disgruntled Ronaldo's probably going to be a positive thing for the dressing room, as I think he has a huge impact. You could see early doors, Bruno had a chance to shoot, and he tries to play Ronaldo in. I think that the team really look up to him. Whether you think that's a positive or a negative, I think it's just a fact. So him being happy is probably going to make the dressing room a much happier place. There is still a role for him, for sure. And if he scores goals, he'll find himself starting. I firmly believe Ten Hag doesn't hold a grudge, and I believe he'll play whoever he thinks is going to do the best job for him. If that's Ronaldo, well, that's Ronaldo. Personally, I think that he's going to try and engineer a move away in January, whether or not he manages to get that. I think he'll just try and keep himself fit, try and get as many minutes as possible so he can go to the World Cup with some sort of form behind him, because we know how much importance he's going to place on that. Probably his last World Cup. Although, who knows? So I think he's just going to want to try and play as much as he can, have a good World Cup, and then try and get himself out of there in January. That's how I see that one sort of going down. Number 3, Rashford sparks again. Another goal for Rashford. Proving to be a very useful player under Ten Hag. I'm still not convinced with him as a number 9. I think Marcus Rashford's got to play off the left, and I think he's excellent there. I'm not sure what the reason behind him playing centrally is necessarily all about, but he's scoring goals, he's creating opportunities, scored a great goal with his head. Not something that you usually see from Marcus Rashford, so it's good to see that. His aura and his energy is completely different to that we saw last year. You're getting work out of him. You're getting spark and energy and attitude out of him in a real positive sense, whereas that wasn't there last year. And I can accept players being injured, but the one thing that you always got out of Marcus Rashford was grit and determination. And with the injury last year, that wasn't there. And I found that really confusing how like, if, look, everyone has a bad touch every now and then, and everyone can drop a bad game every now and then, but you should never be outworked. And I thought at times Marcus allowed himself to be outworked last season. But it's good to see him playing with a smile on his face and a drive in him this season. If he can be a little bit more clinical, he could make himself undroppable in this team, because no one's doing that at the moment, up front at least, you know, in any of the positions. And it was a great header. He doesn't score a lot of headers. It was his 99th Manchester United goal, which is not an insignificant number of goals that he's racked up. Now, just one off a real big milestone with 100. So, yeah, positive performance. I'd love to see him. If Ronaldo's going to play, I'd love to see Marcus get a start on the left-hand side. Sancho's not earning one at the moment. And I think Anthony being, you know, someone that there's a prior existing relationship with Ten Hag, I think he's going to play him. So, play him on the left. Number 4, clean sheet again. So, solid centre-half. So, it sounds like a broken record, but I'm absolutely in love with Martinez. And you can say, look, yeah, Sheriff didn't offer a lot, and you'd be right, they didn't. But we still did it. It was still Manchester United, meh, opposition, 0. He was ridiculously good in the first half. And this is playing 1/3 into the opposition half, by the way. His level never drops. He could be playing a World Cup final, and he might be. Or he could be playing against Sheriff on a Thursday night, and he goes into both of those games with the same mentality. You put Lindelof alongside him, you have Varane alongside him, you don't give a shit. He's playing the exact same. And Lindelof's performances have gone under the radar a little bit. He's been a brilliant deputy for Varane. Very, very solid. And even Maguire came in and had a good cameo when he came on. We are keeping clean sheets. Maguire played a ball out onto the left-hand side that Garnacho took with that brilliant first touch, which resulted in the offside goal for Ronaldo. It was a brilliant work bit of football that came from a centre-half. Varane was flying before his injury. United looked like centre-half might be one of the strongest areas of the squad at the moment, with one signing. How do we do that? And number 5, momentum. We are becoming a very difficult side to beat. We lack in the goals. That's why we're not a very good side in all departments yet. But we move the ball through the thirds nice, and we don't concede a lot of chances. Big test coming up with West Ham. Bigger test coming up with Sociedad next week. Villa with Unai Emery. That's a winnable game, let's be honest. And the League Cup I don't really give a shit about before Fulham wraps up Manchester United's pre-World Cup schedule. You could win all of those. These three I care about. I don't really care about the Villa game in the Cup. I really don't. I hope Iqbal and Donny van der Beek and anyone who needs minutes plays in that game. I don't really care who else plays. But the 2 league games and the Europa game. Well, I guess there's more than that. Yeah, there's West Ham. Yeah, let's include that. Villa. The 3 league games and the Europa game. 4 games. You win all 4 of them, things start to look a little bit different. Something's building. There's been hiccups. It's been a little bit sketchy at times. We've lacked a little bit of spark up front. Not quite everyone's been on the same hymn sheet in the final third. But the progress is definite. And the progress is tangible. And the progress, you can almost touch it. The attitude, the spirit, the control, the confidence. Not sitting here saying we're in the league. But my God, does it feel good to be united behind this manager at the moment. The dynamic, the vibe, everything about this team is flying. The big decisions Ten Hag is getting, not just correct, but spot on. Garnacho was dealt with in pre-season for being late. I imagine he's not been late since. And he's been getting rewarded with a start. Cristiano Ronaldo spits his teddy out. You can fucking take a seat and all. He is consistent. He is authoritative. And he knows. And more importantly, the team know. Whether you're a 17-year-old who's never made a start or you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you will be treated exactly the same. The standards are the same. And the punishment is the same. Ten Hag is getting it absolutely spot on. There is no doubts whatsoever who the gaffer is at Manchester United. And it's that bald fella. And he is doing bits with this team. If you get him a striker in the January sales, we could do something. Now, that's not me saying that happens this season. But we are going to do something under this manager. And listen, Graham Souness, don't make me make a 5th video about you saying Ten Hag will be gone in 5 years' time. Honestly, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth, listen, I will tell you I'm never going to say anything nice about Liverpool. That guy pretends to be neutral, pretends to be saying it for the benefit as a neutral. Guy chats shit. We've only lost once in our last 9 games. It was against a Manchester City side that they give it us, let's be real. But it's been good. It's been very good. And you got to like that. It's building, boys. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.